events, and there was like 1,000 women waiting to come in. Now, I think because we've fought so hard for our rights and in being just typical humans that want to be allowed everywhere, we don't have as many lesbian events because we don't even need them. I think we're just cool now. We're allowed to.
That's true.
You're listening to Queer Travel Chat by Two Bad Tourists. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Queer Travel Chat. My name is Austin. I'm one half of the blogger duo Two Bad Tourists, and joining me as always every week here to my left is David.
Hola, hola, estoy aquí también.
So, before we get into the episode, David, tell me a little bit about what you have been up to this past couple weeks.
I haven't seen you in a few days,
Yeah,
right?
you've been traveling, right?
Well, I was traveling. Before my trip, we actually went to go check out a market here in Madrid. I went with our other guide, Isaac, who does our food tour with us, our LGBTQ tapas tour that we have here in Madrid. And we were contacted by this market here in the city, and we got to go check out their little store that they got because I don't know if I'm looking at you here.
Yeah, I just look at anyone.
So we got contacted by this little shop, and they want to add it to our tapas tour. They contacted us on Instagram, so we got to go check it out. And I'm really excited to add it to the tour because they're going to show like products that are really typical all around Spain, like some olive oil, some paprika, some saffron. They'll allow us to try some products like turrón,
Cool.
which is like a typical nugget candy, and even some mejillones, some like mussels in a can. So it'll be like a nice little touch, I think, to the tour. So I'm excited to add that. And
Always
then
improving.
Yeah, and I just got back from Lugo, so I just did a 2-day trip with my boyfriend. We drove up to the north of Spain to kind of get out of the city and enjoy the mountains, so to get out and kind of clean fresh air. So have you ever
That's
heard
in
of
Galicia, right?
Yeah, have you
Which
ever
is
heard of Lugo?
on top of Portugal? No, I'd never heard of it.
I hadn't either. We just found some like really cute cabins to go check it out, and it's actually like it has a walled fortress around the city. So it's like from the 3rd century from the Romans. So it's actually really cool to go check it out. I mean, it's not the most beautiful city I've ever seen in Spain, but it's definitely worth going to.
Really selling it.
I mean, just because there's so many beautiful places.
Yeah.
But the walled like historical part is really cool. And then we tried this torta de crema gallega. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay, it is really like one of the most delicious desserts I've tried here in Spain. It was something new for me too. It was like this, almost like this bready pastry, but it had like this, like, of course, cream or nata to it, and also you could get like a chocolate version. I found a place here in Madrid, so I'm gonna buy it, and you're gonna try it.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
really, really good.
Have to buy
So,
some.
what have you been up to?
Well, just yesterday I went to do this event at a hotel called Only You Hotels. They have a couple properties here in Madrid and around Spain. And one of our friends, Randy, he works for them. And it was cool. Like, you and I have been to a ton of hotels and done tours and stuff like that since we host group trips. But this was nice because they had these like different activities throughout the property. It wasn't just like showing you the rooms. They had like hired an event company, and they had like free food and drink. And so it was just a really cool way to like experience a hotel, but like, get some free booze.
Why wasn't I invited?
Because
to that?
you're out of town. So I invited my boyfriend Juan. So
I want
you
free
went to
food and
Lugo?
drink.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
we did eat
yeah, I
really
did
well in
that,
Lugo.
and that was great. But of course, yeah, today's episode is not about Madrid nor Spain. It is about Miami, and so we're super excited here to speak with Yesi Leon in a few moments from Pandora Events, which produces annual parties like Aqua Girl, which they formerly had in Miami, and then she also does Girls in Wonderland, which is Orlando Gay Days, and also Girls in Wonderland Beach, which happens in St. Petersburg. And then we'll just kind of chat a little bit about Miami as a queer destination in general, and of course ask Yesi about some of her tips and things that you might be able to plan if you're taking a trip there. And of course, on that note, we do want to thank our generous sponsor, Greater Miami and Miami Beach, for sponsoring today's episode.
Yeah, we just recently visited Miami in January and got to spend a long weekend there after doing this Virgin Voyages Caribbean cruise, and we absolutely loved it. It was my second time there. I hadn't been in over a decade. It was your second, third, fourth,
7, 8. I've been there
11,
11, 12.
Yeah. So there's always a reason to go to Miami. It's definitely worth. It's a destination worth repeating if you can. So if you want to check out Miami with us next year, we will be doing a cruise out of Miami with Virgin Voyages. This is an 8-day sail from February 22nd to March 2nd, 2025. So you could add on a few days before or after the cruise to check out the city. So go to twobadtourist.com to find more details on our trip.
So tell us, you have some fun facts about Miami,
You know,
right?
I love my fun
Yes.
facts. I love
Always with your
to
fun
investigate
facts.
this. If we have a destination episode, I like to get into some fun facts about the city or the country, depending on what we're talking about today. So today is Miami. So did you know, Austin, that Miami is also known as Magic City?
Yes, because we practiced episode 3 times before.
But did you know
Not
before
before.
that?
No.
Okay.
This is pretty new to
So
me.
there's a story here. I'll explain. So Miami's historical roots extend back to Native American tribes such as the Tequesta and the Seminole. Of course, I'm probably saying that horribly wrong, who occupied the area long before European settlers arrived. And in fact, Miami gets its name from one of the tribes that lived there in the 16th and 17th centuries, the Miami. I guess it's spelled with a Y. So I don't know how you pronounce it, but the Miami. In the late 1800s, Julia Tuttle, often called the mother of Miami, persuaded Henry Flagler, a prominent railroad tycoon, to expand his Florida East Coast Railway to the region, which led to Miami's establishment as a city in 1896, and making it the only major U.S. city that was founded by a woman. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's great.
So during this period of rapid growth, Miami earned the nickname Magic City, inspired by the rapid transformation of the city from this distant outpost into a thriving urban center rather quickly. So really cool to know that.
Miami, of course, is also known for its tropical climate, or maybe you don't know that, but it might be obvious to some, but maybe not to others. And the fact that we actually just visited in January was proof of that. We were going around in shorts and tank tops.
I was
and
surprised by how warm it was in January.
It was great. So Miami's a great place all year round, but particularly in the winter where it's cold everywhere else. And Miami is super famous for the world's largest collection of Art Deco architecture, which makes for a really cute backdrop of Ocean Drive. And it's just a really cool experience because there's no city like that on the planet.
It's so cute walking down Ocean Drive and seeing all that architecture. It really kind of takes you into a different era. So that is definitely worth checking out. Miami was also once a mangrove swamp, and the current land is mostly man-made. And lastly, there are about 50 underwater wreck sites around Miami that are popular for scuba enthusiasts to observe when they're diving.
So speaking of diving, let's dive into our call to action. How do you like that transition?
A terrible transition.
All right. So if you like the show, please subscribe to it on Spotify, Apple, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also be sure to leave a 5-star review if you did enjoy our episode. It's really important for us. And if you're watching on any social media platform, please feel free to leave a comment and share the episode with your friends. And of course, you can always follow us on social media. We're always at Too Bad Tourists. So at this point, I'm super happy to invite Yesi to the show.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how's everyone?
I'm doing
Good,
well.
thanks.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. You and I have been chatting for a few years through IGLTA, but we've never actually spoken in person, so it's cool to connect.
Likewise.
Meeting each other.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Are you coming to us from Miami?
Yes, I am. Sunny Miami.
Sunny Miami. Well, okay, Yesi, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I am one of the owners of Pandora Events. It's a business we founded about 23 years ago. We've been going strong since then. We produce a lot of lesbian festivals or queer festivals now in Orlando, also St. Pete. And we do a lot of monthly and weekly, not weekly, but monthly events. We also do Makin Babies, which is a seminar for women who want to start a family. So we produce virtual free events, bring in some experts, and we get them started.
So are you from Miami originally?
I am. I'm born here, born and raised. I'm Cuban, but this is where I live. I wouldn't trade it for anywhere else.
Awesome. Yeah, we're certainly jealous. It's a good place to be from. We want to get into Pandora Events, but before we do, as we're talking about Miami, we're just kind of curious if you can tell us a little bit about some of your favorite things about Miami, since we just had a great time there.
I'm loving all these Michelin star restaurants. That's cool.
Ooh, yeah.
A lot of good food, a lot of different cultures, a lot of things to do. I feel like really you just have to log on and see what's happening today, and you'll find whether it's a concert on the beach or I don't know, even a symphony outside. It's a beautiful place to be. Lately, my favorites have been all the full moon beach parties.
Oh, cool.
Hadn't done that in a while, and now I'm back into it.
What's that like?
It's awesome. It's in North Beach, so it's a little bit away from, all the craziness in South Beach. But whenever there's a full moon, everyone meets out there, and it's a free event, and it's fun, crazy. The vibes are amazing. The energy's great.
Oh, that's
Nice.
something to check out next time we're in
Yeah,
Miami. Then
yeah,
I like
definitely.
that. That
Yeah,
sounds really cool.
Well, I
Mm.
definitely want to talk a little bit about more about you and Pandora Events, and I love the fact that you've been doing this for like more than 2 decades. Congratulations on that, by the
Yeah.
way.
Thank you.
So tell us tell us a little bit more about some of the events that you host, and like what can women expect if they attend some of your events.
We try to provide something for everyone. We do our festival, for example, Girls in Wonderland, has a comedy show, but it also has dance parties. It also has
Mm.
pool parties, and it has, a brunch and things like that. So there's always something for someone.
Yeah, it's nice to, yeah, if somebody's not super into the party scene, then they have other options.
Yeah, and also we're partnered with Kindred Pride. We sit on the board, and they're doing something called like the Pride Cup. So we're hosting and helping them host sports events. So this year there's going to be a big pickleball tournament. There's going to be a golf tournament. There's going to be softball, everything.
So how many annual like party events do you have going right now?
2 right now.
Okay.
Well, that's not true. 2 festivals, and then maybe 3 parties in Miami that are annual.
Okay. And then the monthly events. So you have Making Babies. So that's where women can go to kind of get more information if they're trying to start their queer families.
Yes.
And then do you have other,
Our Rainbow Nest.
Rainbow Nest.
do you have
Yeah.
other monthly ones?
Not monthly. It's like, every few months. There's every 2 months. I don't know. Whenever we come up with a fun idea, like we just had Miami Beach Pride, and we were like, "Oh, let's do a fetishy kind of party and, bring whips and chains and all that stuff." It was fun.
How did that
But
go
very
well?
vanilla, very vanilla. But
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But it went well?
it was a lot of fun because everybody likes to dress up and,
Yeah.
leather lace, all that kind of stuff. And then we had our tea dance at the rooftop at Dream, and that was a hit. That was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I love those daytime parties. This is like a daytime party, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Tea dance. Those are cool.
Yeah, like from 3 to 8. It was really nice, and the weather was amazing.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about the type of people that your events attract? So are they only queer identified women, lesbians? Do straight women go? Do queer men go?
Lately it's everything. Basically anybody that will behave properly can come
Okay.
in. But it's we're calling it queer now. We're not even calling it like a lesbian event anymore because yes, we do have some men that come. We do have couples that come. Bi women. Everyone's really welcomed. A lot of the trans community's been coming a lot. So we're pretty much open to anyone, at this point. And as long as as everyone feels safe and at our event, you're welcomed.
So it sounds like it's kind of women centric, but open to everyone who, is gonna,
I would say like
be-
90% women, and then the rest between trans and straights and all
Okay.
that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of similar to how we run our like group trips and stuff. Of course, like we focus on gay men as well. That's kind of what it's centered on. But everyone is of course welcome as long as they just kind of understand, who the other guests are going to be.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good way to run a business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And are most like the people that come to your events, are they mostly locals? Are they from different parts of the country? Do you get international visitors?
We get a lot of Floridians, but I would say, I don't know, 60% Floridian, and then everything else is like a mixture. Canada,
Right.
Texas is like all over the place. Had a lot of Ireland last year. That was cool.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, so there's with lesbian events and queer women focused events, there's clearly a lack when you look at the LGBTQ community at large, I would say, or when you go to like our neighborhoods. It always seems like there are these bars that are dedicated to gay men, or mostly gay men are going. And so I'm really curious, what is your experience in promoting like a woman focused like events? Like, how has that been? Is it difficult to keep them going? Do you know any reasons that you, from your perspective of why they tend to be so male focused in the queer community?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's changed, in my experience. Back when we started our company, we would have weekly events, and there was like 1,000 women waiting to come in. Now, I think because we've fought so hard for our rights and in being just typical humans that want to be allowed everywhere, we don't have as many lesbian events because we don't even need them. I think we're just cool now. We're allowed to.
That's true.
we're allowed to go anywhere. And I think women just tend not to go out as much as men. Men, you guys are always out. I don't know how you do it. Women tend to, I don't know, like different things, maybe do more house parties and wait for that really cool night to go out and get dressed up. And so it's more like special events, I think. Um, there's not a lot of bars. I mean, there's like what I think like 30. It keeps changing because new bars come on. But
Right.
2 years ago, there was a documentary. It was only 13 left, and I think now there's 33
I
all
think
over
I've
the
seen those
country.
Wait,
stats.
but
Yeah.
in the country or
In the states.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
in the US, yeah.
Yeah.
wow,
There
in the
have been a
US?
few, like, in the past, like, since COVID, there have been a few that have kind of popped up new places,
Oh my
so
God, that's
so
so
that's good. I
cute.
feel like,
Yeah.
as long as they can keep the momentum going, that's
Well, I
awesome.
feel like that's got to be a challenge for you, though, as somebody who's focusing on throwing events that are focused on queer women, right? I mean, that is the challenge
Mhm.
is getting people to attend, right? And
Yeah, I mean, I think women they still need a space,
Yeah.
where they gather and they look forward to these special events that have a little bit of everything for them,
mhm.
So it's challenging, but fun because I like to come up with new ideas and new themes and
Yeah.
get them excited. But more importantly, I love that they're comfortable when they come to our event. It's not so clicky,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
that's good.
either you hook up and get a new girlfriend or break up with your current girlfriend or things like that, or you end up in a new group of friends.
Well, so you hinted at it a little bit before, but so now that you've been managing and running events for, like, more than 2 decades, like, how have those events changed over the years? Like, from the early days to some of the days now? Like, what have you seen?
Well, now the shift is that it's more fluid. So back then it was, we were worried for safety reasons of, if we let a bunch of straight men in, are we going to feel safe? Is this still going to be our place? And back then it wasn't. And now, it's shifted a little bit, now it's I don't know, it's just very fluid. Even if you ask like a 10-year-old, they're like super open about
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm outed from by my children all the time. Before I can even say, "Oh, this is my partner," or whatever, they're like, "Oh yeah, she's gay."
I mean, it's great that they're so comfortable. It almost makes me feel like we're out of the loop already. I'm like,
They
wait,
are
hang on, what's
so
the terminology now?
comfortable.
Right, right.
We're the ones with the issues. They are not.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is great. I mean, it's incredible to see so much, advancement in such a short period of time of our own,
Absolutely.
past decade or so.
A lot of the nonprofits here in Miami have made a lot of they've made a lot of changes. They've made it really safe, like Safe Date to name one. I used to be a big volunteer for Safe Date and working and just on our rights and making sure people vote and all those things have made a big difference. It's takes time, but it has. I have seen it in my own events. We have a lot of allies now.
Which is great. And to be more inclusive is kind of, allowing straight people in their spaces is, I think a positive change.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, so it's obviously, like, not all parties that you do. So tell us a little bit more about some of the other causes that you support, or maybe the Making Babies events. We want to hear more about that as well.
Yeah, I would say Making Babies is our largest one because we want to make sure we're my company is owned by two others, Allison Burgos and Amy Alonso, and the three of us have had our own journeys in starting families, and we wanted to share it with others because everyone was like, "Wait, what do we do? Where bank
Yeah,
do we go to? Who do we call?
right.
Should we have like babies with our best friends?" Like it's been a lot. So, we've gotten a lot of experts involved so that, people can women can start their families. They didn't think that they could back then. And now there's so many of them, starting their families, which is great. Another thing we are passionate about is just getting out to vote. Feel like I've been posting it myself since January already. And I know it's early, but I want everyone to either, I don't know, just if you're not going to get out there and this is just not going to happen, then sign up to have an absentee ballot.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah,
no reason why we shouldn't be voting. Whoever you want to vote for, just vote.
yeah,
And we're still big volunteers. We lend our platform a lot to a lot of nonprofits, Equality Florida being one of them, to help with the shout outs and help gather people just to participate. you know? And then the last I think that we're in the middle of is mental health. I think it's not talked about enough, especially in the women's community, and we're trying to normalize it a little bit. And we're working with Bliss Cares on that, and just giving women a safe place to come and talk about your issues, understand you're not alone, and understand what you should be doing, going to the doctor, getting your checkups. Sometimes it's even just checking your hormones, like things like that, that people don't think about or think, oh, let's not talk about it because, talking about hormones makes you sound old. No, everybody has freaking hormones.
Yeah,
Like, so just those are the things we're concentrating on now.
Yeah,
Okay.
and all important causes. I think that's great because you can,
Yeah.
combine the party with things that are going to be important for people outside the party as well.
Yeah.
Well, going back to kind of, mentioned Equality Florida and a little bit of politics. A lot of people talk about boycotting Florida because of the politics there. In fact, we just sent out a newsletter that was, what was it promoting?
We during our Miami trip a few days before we went to Key West, so we just sent out sort of an overview of our Key West visit, and we literally got an email like
10
I
minutes
wouldn't say
before
it was like a
started
hate
this.
email. This one was more respectful, saying I'm never laying foot in Florida again. But they didn't attack us. But sometimes we personally get attacked for like trying to promote the safe spaces.
Yeah, they'll unfollow
in
and
Miami or
unsubscribe
Key
us.
West,
But this
right?
one was polite. If you're
This
going to
one was
be
polite.
against it, that's
Like,
fine. If you're
likewise.
being nice.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of curious, as somebody who's from Florida, from Miami, what do you say to this? And is Miami and Florida overall safe for queer travelers?
I think it's super safe. I'm not going anywhere. Why? Why am I going to give this paradise to anybody?
Yeah.
Hell no. So, we get attacked too, and I would say it's just people that maybe hear the news for 5 minutes and make their decision and think that I could move a festival that's 23 years old to, I don't know, to where? To New
Right.
York?
Yeah.
Like, right. So, they just don't know the ins and outs of my business. But I would say no. Like, I think Miami's safe. I do think that the trans community has to pay attention because of the laws and the rules and all these things. And I think that's kind of what started it all,
Yeah.
I feel like that's fading. I feel like just a typical gay person, I think that they would have a great time in Miami, fit in just fine. And no, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, and I always think about, when people say boycott Florida, I think about, the business owners like you. Like, what about all the queer people who are trying to live and work there? If we don't go there and support these businesses, then we're not supporting our own community.
And we've been here long enough and things change and rule and you vote for this and then this comes up and then something else comes up. So this doesn't mean it's going to stay like this forever.
Yeah.
It just means that someone had a problem with it and now we're defining it and it's going to turn out better for everyone, I think, later in the end.
I think people could, instead of boycotting the state, just be really intentional about where they're spending their money if they want to when they go to, Orlando or Miami and support queer businesses. If that's that important to you, then do some investigation.
Yeah.
Pride lines, we know in Miami will get people some information they need as queer travelers.
Yeah. I love your response, right? Like, we've been here, for a long time. And I mean, politicians will come and go, but the resilience of the LGBT community is what is like steadfast. And that's what like keeps our movement going. And like, just like you said, like in the lifetime of the time you've had your company, you've seen so much change. So I feel like this is just sort of a small down blip in the sort of upward trajectory that the community has.
Yeah, it's a relationship. It goes up and down and up and down. And, and I do think, not to be super positive, but I do think that when things go wrong, it's just a chance for us to look at what else we need for things to be better, right? So, all right, this sucks and we're all going through this, but now it's a chance to like rewrite it and make it better for everyone because we've evolved. Things have changed, So I think it's just normal. So normal life stuff.
I liked having that positive attitude about it.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, like, just in general, what is the Miami queer scene like? And specifically for women, like, what are the places that queer women like to visit and hang out?
Like, we know we should go to like Palace, Twist.
Right. I was gonna say the Palace. I mean, Twist is always like a journey and an adventure. Get there super late for the fun. There's not like a whole bunch of places that I would say, hey, go here. It just depends. You have to, join our newsletter. When we get travelers, we look at our other promoters and what they're doing, and send it to them. So
Okay.
there's like a lot of other promoters, but the schedule just changes. So I would just give them that information. But Miami as I mean, look up the concerts, look up what's going on, stay in those nice hotels on South Beach or
Yeah.
North Beach. North Beach is great. I love North Beach. So there's a lot to do, a lot to discover.
How
Well,
can someone sign up for your newsletter if they wanted to? You mentioned that.
Yeah, just go to pandoraevents.com, and then there'll be a pop-up, and you just put your email there.
Okay, perfect.
Or
So
follow us on Instagram as well.
we'll put links in the show notes as well too, so people can easily find it. Okay, so for travelers in general, queer or allies, if they just want to go to visit Miami, what are some of the sites and things that they should do?
Everybody loves Vizcaya. Everybody
We did
loves,
too.
Yeah.
I mean, all the beaches are amazing. There's a lot of if you're a hotel person that likes to visit different hotels, you can get the day passes and go experience the hotel, these nice luxury hotels, and
Ooh,
I don't
That's a
know.
great tip.
Yeah. I've
Cool.
been hearing a lot about that. Um, I think beach. You have to go to the beach. Venetian Pool. Has anybody been to Venetian Pool in a long time? That's cool.
I haven't even heard of it.
Don't know what it
Coral
is.
Gables. So
Wow.
in Coral Gables, there's a pool called Venetian Pool, and it looks like Venice.
Oh,
In the
cool.
middle of the residential area. Trust me, I've tried to throw a party there many times, and they're like, "Oh, only 200 people are allowed." I'm like, "What? This fits like 3,000 people." But it's a nice spot if you want to do something really different.
I like that insider tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the time of year? When should people go? We went in January and
Um,
just loved to be out of the winter weather,
I
in
like
general.
it. I like October, October, November, December. For me, I like it. Art Basel. I mean, get some Cuban culture in and go to Calle Ocho and drink, our, cocaine coffee, and have a good time watching other people play dominoes, or just kind of like going to all the mom and pop stores, people making cigars. It's a lot of fun.
You're
I'll
planning
go
our
to
next trip
Versailles.
for us, so
You
we
ever been to
appreciate it.
Versailles?
No,
Have
we
you ever
didn't
been to
know.
Versailles? Yeah,
No.
go there and then listen to all the politics.
We were only there on a 3-day weekend
Yeah.
trip, so
It was a short one.
definitely I feel like not long enough, but learned that we definitely need to go back as well.
Yes.
So,
yes,
okay, Jesse, is there
yes.
anything that you wish we would have asked you, or something in addition that you want to share that maybe you didn't get to mention?
No, I think we covered it all. Love your show. Would love to send it out in our newsletter as well. So send us a link. And
Ditto.
Yeah.
next time you're in Miami, look me up, and I'll give you all the insider scoops at that moment,
We'll be there soon enough next year for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Definitely in February.
or what to avoid.
Yes, please. Well, we always like to wrap up with a question. Where are you traveling to next? Do you have any travel plans coming up?
You know what? I think I'm going after Girls in Wonderland in June. I think I'm going in July to Ireland and Scotland.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
great.
That'll be a
I
fun
know.
trip.
I don't know what exactly I'm doing there, obviously, besides going to pubs, but definitely, I don't know, finally, pulled the trigger.
Yeah, great. That'll be
Awesome.
an amazing destination. Good time to go to. What are the dates of your Girls in Wonderland event in June?
It's May 30th through June 3rd in
Okay,
Orlando.
so we can get this out before then,
Yeah.
so people know.
Yeah,
And you
definitely.
both are definitely invited.
Oh God, I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
we're
will
a
have
little
so much
have
fun. So
to
much
fly
fun and
across
so much
Europe.
footage after.
Yeah.
I want to party with the queer
Yeah,
women.
that sounds like fun.
You should. We'll treat you right. We'll hydrate you, take
We're
care
gonna
of you, give you food,
make it happen.
right? And then you'll have to give us
Awesome.
therapy after.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for joining us. It was nice to finally chat in person. We really appreciate you being on the show.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll meet in person
Likewise.
hopefully soon.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Take
Take
care.
care.
We'll chat later. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. So again, thanks Jesse for that, and for Miami for sponsoring this episode.
Have you ever been to a queer women's party before?
I don't know. Maybe
That sounds like fun. We
I've
need to,
definitely
like,
been
make
to some like
time.
lesbian clubs, and I've had a good time.
Oh my god. Oh, well, yeah, because the one in Madrid floating to
Mhm.
the top, we have a great time there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. If you like the show, please subscribe to it on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, be sure to leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed it. It really helps us out. And if you're watching live on any social media platform, feel free to leave us a comment to share or share what or what. Leave us a
What do you want me
comment or share the episode with your friends. Do something with it. Help us out.
Yeah, help us out.
You can follow us on social media. We are always at Two Bad Tourists, and feel free to leave a comment about what you want to hear more of. We're always taking a look at those.
So, coming up on our next episode of Queer Travel Chat, we are going to be interviewing the Nomadic Boys, who are
They are
our arch
enemies.
nemesis.
Yes. Why are we having them on our show?
Just kidding. No. So the Nomadic Boys, much like us, are a duo, blogging duo. They have a big following on social media.
They have a
They
much
travel
larger than us.
Yeah. They travel all around the world, of course. But they have some big news because they have just
They're pregnant.
I don't know
Talking
how
about
they
making
managed to do
baby.
that. Yeah,
They went to the Making Babies seminar.
Yes, they did.
and-
No, we're going to be spreading gossip all around the internet. No. They've released a book. So,
Which is their baby.
yeah. So it's called Out in the World, the 2024 International LGBTQIA+ travel guide, filled with pride. And I believe it's this released on May 14th is when they're
So,
launching it.
but
I think you can probably pre-order it if you
this
if
should
you
be
search for it.
released before that.
But yes, so we will be interviewing them and talking all about their adventure and their history and their book as well.
It's the first time on the podcast, too, right?
It is, yeah.
Oh,
We've been
yay.
chatting with them for a few years, trying to get them on, and then finally all kind of worked out. So
Fantastic.
we're excited for that one. So until next time, everyone, we will speak with you then.